Hello, everyone. I'm Fernandez, the high school sports writer at the Miami Herald, and we're here at Booker T. Washington High School with Coach Tim Harris Jr. And Tim, some big news today. Obviously, your dad, Coach Ice Harris, accepts a job at the University of Miami to coach there now. And from what we hear, you've been handed the reins, man. It's like they're keeping it in the family. Just tell us a little bit about what you expect from the transition here and the opportunity to be a head coach in Dade County.
Oh, I have to be, I'm excited about the opportunity, obviously, and it's a bittersweet feeling for me because being here coaching with my dad for the past 3 years, it's been a lot of great, things. We've won a lot, we've achieved a lot just, off the field and everything, and just that being able to, be working with him all day, those things like that's that part of the change I think is going to bother me the most at the beginning. From a football standpoint, I feel that he's been putting me in positions, the whole time since he came back to be ready to run a program myself, and that what makes it, I think, made the situation a little easier with making a decision because he's knowing that he showed me the ropes. I was born into this, and I knew that it was only a matter of time before I become a head coach, whether it be here at Booker T or somewhere else. But I don't think there's no greater feeling than it being here at my high school that I'll be able to get my first opportunity to be a head coach.
And you had plenty of chances too, because I know there was other high schools in Dade County that were coming and trying to hire you, especially this season where there was a lot of coaching change. I mean, talk about just maybe how that turned out. In a way, it ended up breaking the way you wanted it, in a situation like this.
Right. I've been a big believer in my faith. Through the whole process. With the season that we had, there were a lot of opportunities that came to a lot of us. For me being a coordinator here and being an assistant head coach, a lot of people came at me with opportunities to be a head coach. We had position coaches where guys offered them opportunities to be coordinators, and I was on the fence about a lot of things, and but I prayed about a lot, and me turning those situations down, I think the man upstairs now is just showing me that he had a destiny for me to be a head coach soon. And this situation with my dad came out of the blue in just the past few weeks, and for him to end up making that decision, he put me right here and said, you're going to be a head coach, and no matter if you turn down those situations or not, but he was going to put me in a position where if he felt that I was ready for it, and now we're here.
Some of the guys, you're going to meet formally with the team in a little bit, but some of the guys obviously, have read on Twitter what's going on, and they already know, and you had a chance to meet with some of your returning leaders. What was the reaction, to the transition?
You get both sides of the spectrum. You get, kids initially, you have a coach that has been so successful as my dad, and the things that he's done, the relationships that he's built with those guys, you have them down at the start, but, when they just started talking about where we're going from here as a program, and knowing that I was taking over, I think a lot of kids were very happy for me, and excited to say, Coach, let's we here, we're gonna get this thing done. And I was very pumped about that, because that's something that you always worry about, regardless of what you feel you've done. But when there's coaching changes and transition, kids being kids, they're gonna be hearing a lot of things out there. So for the guys that I was able to speak with today about this, to see that they were on board with us moving forward, and all in, and understanding that this program is going to keep moving. Like I told them, I'm not really sitting coming in here trying to say that we're just going to keep this thing above water and continue, but we're trying to get better. We know we're just coming off a national championship, but there are a lot of things that we have to do better this year to become a better football team, and that's what I'm more focused on.
One of the things your dad has always been involved in, aside from the football aspect, is getting these kids into school. I mean, it doesn't matter where it is, whether it's a D1 school, D3 school, just getting them an opportunity at the next level. Talk about some of the things you're going to do to make sure that tradition continues at the school.
Well, the biggest thing that, like probably not a lot of people will know on the outside, my dad will tell you, the past 2 years, he's kind of, brought me along to handle a lot of the recruiting stuff myself. So for the past 2 years, I've had an opportunity to be, a first-hand guy, involved in that. A lot of the colleges, they know that he had a lot on his plate with running things here where, I was the main contact guy for a lot of situations. And the kids, the senior group that we just had, I've played a big role in, helping those guys go through the process. And, so I've gone through that past few years, and that part will not change at all. We'll continue to have, our packets. We're one of the schools that do a great job of that. From what colleges say when they come in, having packages ready for them with transcripts and contact information and things like that. And also just getting our kids. I think the biggest thing that we'll do more of, and we talked about this even before knowing that this situation came up, what I wanted to do was get our kids to more camps in the summer. And, that's the biggest thing now where you see that transition. And, it's changing out there with college football where guys are getting more offers from going to campuses and participating in camps. And we're going to do that a lot more this summer, getting our kids out on the road and visiting a lot of different colleges. And also being, obviously here locally at Miami, FIU and FAU, schools like that will see our kids on an individual basis a lot.
Well, that's something in the summertime the last few years you've been really successful at. I mean, you have the national championship now, but you had some already on the 7-on-7 tours and all that. But tell us, if you can, quickly, just a little bit about this team. I know we know a lot of the superstars graduated, but who are some of the guys coming back that can keep this team on that championship level?
We have a lot of guys, and you have to start off with a guy who's a super sophomore for us this year, and Mark Walton. Him being in our backfield last year, he really helped up our game. We had a kid who was a returning first-team all-day back the year before with Fernandez Larry, but Mark coming back really pushed Fernandez, and I think that made us a better football team. And Mark, he's continued to get better throughout this off season, and from offensive stand on the offense, you still have guys like Shaq Green, who I think is going to take that next step, Vaquan Small, and then when you go to defense, the James Kings, and who's a linebacker that everybody in the country right now is after, really athletic kid, big, fast, can run. And then, you look at the DB position, I think that we have a lot of young guys that we're bringing in now that, will help us keep this thing going. As far as kids who, were at other schools now here, when we really get started officially with football, I'll be able to, speak more about them. But right now, I think that we have a lot of key, guys in place where we're going to be a really good team.
If there's one thing maybe the kids can expect, I mean, what maybe is one little difference between your dad's coaching style and maybe your head coaching style that they got to look forward to in 2014?
Well, just, I think that going through these few years, we switch roles a lot. There's a time when I'm bad cop and he has to be good cop, and I think more so from a game standpoint it switches. He's the guy that's in their face when they make mistakes during the game, and I'm the guy that try to grab them, like, let me talk to you, talk about your mistakes and get it right. So and from that standpoint, I think it's going to be me having to show and grow through my experience, and and talking to him a lot is going to help me do that, to be able to just understand and not be so hard on them all the time, right, from a practice standpoint. But I think that's helped us in a way. But at the same time, when now you're the head guy, you have to kind of pull back from that role a little bit. But I'm still going to be me, and I think that being me and doing my job the way that I do has got me in this situation. So I'm going to stick to my guns and make sure that we can keep this thing moving.
Well, Tim, congratulations. And there you have it. Booker T keeping it in the family.